Welcome, Garage Life fans, and welcome to our first project in the new garage in Pennsylvania. Guys, I'm going to go over what we're going to be doing. It's going to be just painting some walls. I'm going to paint the workbench before we can get that set up. I just need that room, kind of the base done, so I can get tools set up in a nice area to work. So that is the first project out of everything we got going on. And what do we have going on? So we just got a brand new place in Pennsylvania with a fabulous garage here that we can start doing what Garage Life wants to accomplish. And what do we want to accomplish is take some incredible things, side-by-sides, take motorcycles, boats, fun cars, Jeeps, things that, guys, that you normally won't buy because it doesn't make sense to use on an everyday basis. Yes, Busa. Busa would like to say something. What's up, Boosie? What are you doing? The dogs absolutely love the garage. It's a fantastic place. So our whole entire reason for being here, guys, is to make affordable options for everybody to have access to unbelievable adventures. And what the adventures that include is having a dirt bike, having a street bike, be able to go boating, be able to do all these different things on an economical way, either as ownership, so you guys can own it, and we are actually the customer service and the broker to go through, so we get your things rented. And of course, Garage Life is going to own our own things, and we're going to offer that to the public at fabulous rates, so everybody has a chance to do new things that they normally wouldn't do by going out and purchasing some of this stuff. So the garage gives us an opportunity to be able to fix, maintain, and of course house things that we're gonna give options for you guys to do. Just moving in, just getting things set up and have plans galore, but we got to break these down into little projects. So the first project we're doing is our tool room. Have a bunch of stuff laid out right now, guys. This is going to be the room that is going to have some workbenches. It's going to have the original workbench that I had in Colorado in that very small garage there. We're going to get that set up. I have that laid out here because I'm going to paint that, one of the first things, to just get that painted and set aside to get it up in the room. And then we're going to paint this room. Let me show you what I have, what we're going to do, and then we'll get set up to get going. First off, you guys see the workbench laid out, so I am going to get some black paint on that. Everything except for the top. I'm going to keep the top, the wood planks, they're still in the other room. We're going to shoot this stuff with some spray paint. I have no rollers out. I have so much stuff all in the box, and that's what this room's for, is to get my tools out. So we're gonna do this probably one of the easiest ways. At least I think it's gonna be one of the easiest ways. I just grabbed some Painter's Touch paint and primer in semi-gloss for black. I'm gonna throw that on the bench, everything except for the top. I have a high heat paint sitting here. Can't do this today with the stove on. I'll do this one morning before we get things kicked off. But the cinder blocks under the pellet stove over there, I'm gonna match that up with some high gloss black paint, and that's gonna just look so much better. I know it sounds like a very silly thing, but I think some of the little details is gonna make a big difference in this room. And last but not least, I've never used it before. It's still in the box, Truecoat 360 True Airless Paint Sprayer. So I have 2 gallons of paint sitting there. I have no idea how much I need. Tons of tape because we're gonna mask off what we... Hi buddies. Hi buddies. You know you guys are right in the middle of everything, right? Yeah? Okay. Okay. All right. That's cool. Just don't get painted on. That's all I ask. All right. All right. Hi, buddy. All right. So, guys, a little project going on here. I'm gonna reset up the wood, get the dogs out of the spray area, open a window here, get some base coats on this black. I'm not looking for anything amazing. I just want it to look great against the wall, kind of blend in the room, and give this place a little base for everything we got going on and everything that's gonna happen over the next months and years right here in Pennsylvania. All right, guys, I will talk to you soon, and time to get started. All right, guys, so I have no idea how much I need, how much I'm gonna go through, but we just finished the first can, and if you guys see how I'm spraying a little bit, I don't care that I'm not coating the whole piece of wood in one shot. I figured out with spray cans before, it does not matter how much paint you put on, it always lays down on top of the last coat very well. It matters how fast you put it on. So if you sit there in one spot and coat it really well, it's not gonna dry right, it's gonna run like crazy. So I'm running through and just hitting everything, kind of light dusting it, and then coming back around, putting a little more, Obviously I gotta turn some boards around, plenty more paint to put on. But I bought 4 cans. The big shelf I haven't touched yet at all. Some of those longer boards, see, there's plenty of paint I still need to do. But I gotta say, I'm pretty happy and confident that only 4 cans should be able to do this. All right, guys, looks like step 1 is done. Guess how many cans I used? We've got, it looks like the final coat on there. What do you think, guys? I bought 4 cans and I have to run out and get more to get this kind of coverage. It is still drying, you guys can see. No, I probably could have shot the rest of the 4th can, but I left a little bit there, guys, for whatever, when I start spinning the wood again, because I did turn everything over, except for that shelf, but I did turn the boards over. So we'll see what I have to touch up. So there's about 1/3 of a can left. I could have thrown it on there already, but I figured I'm gonna need a little touch up. So we're gonna let that sit and dry for a little while. Next step is coming in here and taping off the room. So I am gonna take all the switch panel covers. I will get all these off because I wanted to be a pretty decent job, not professional by any means, but we're gonna get these nails out of the wall. The corkboard, what are we gonna do? I'll tell you, decided on this. We're gonna take a shot at this and we're gonna paint this whole entire wall. Take the covers off. We're gonna keep those mounts on the side of the wall, but we'll do is we'll run through here, make sure all the rest of the clips are out, and we're gonna shoot some paint right over top and just see what happens. The only part that I'm worried about at all is this door. I know the door going to the outside over there, I'm gonna leave that white. I don't think I'm gonna paint the trim. That'll be a surprise. I'll let you guys see what I do there, because this is my toughest decision. This door looks awful. I should really take it off and sand it. That just seems crazy. So I'm not gonna do it. I have to figure out if I'm gonna leave it like that or if that whole entire door is gonna blend in with the wall. And I think I might just do that. I might just paint that door blue on this side, do the trim and everything over here. But we'll have to, I'll surprise you on that too. The other side does not look that bad. This just looks like it's still soaking wet and has stain drying on it. This side almost looks like it could use another coat. I'm not painting this blue, so we will leave the other side alone, whatever we do to there. All right, guys, step one done. We'll get in here, clean out the rest of the junk that's laying around, let this dry, tape up the room, tape up the ceiling and the floor, because we're gonna clean that up really nice and get to it. All right, friends, here we are. It is cleared out. I got the workbench out of the room. It is dried up nicely, and I just went on a taping spree. I would love painting if you didn't have to tape. So I've definitely done edgers before and things like that. I have no idea how this sprayer is going to work and how well it's going to do. So that is going to be a very telltale sign about how this is going to turn out. I decided to leave that door white. Already had decided to paint this, and I'm going to go for it. I'm going to put a coat of paint over this door and just totally get rid of that finish and see how it turns out. Might be catastrophic, might have to pull it out, re-sand it, do something different with that door, but I have a hope that we can skim this over and get that door looking pretty well. All right, guys, so here it is, ceiling's done. I think it's about that time. I have the Truecoat 360. I know there's several versions of this gun. This is the 360 DS. I understand this is the one that has a little bit smaller of a paint capacity, but it's also a gun that you can turn upside down, shoot it sideways. It does not matter. Time to get her opened up. Find a plug that I haven't taped up. Probably pull an extension cord in here and get this thing started. Here we go. All right, guys, project update. Here we go. Give you guys a nice shot of the room, what is going on right now. Look at that door. Look at how well that door sprayed compared to how bad a shape that was in. So you guys can see there is a coating all the way around the middle of the walls. This is 2 gallons of paint used. That's right, sprayed out 2 gallons of paint. I do have, that's a pretty good wall right there, but you can see like this wall here dried and needs the second coat. So went through all my 2 gallons that we got first, so ran back to the store today, got another 2 gallons. We'll see how that works. Give you an update on the Truecoat 360 DS. First of all, I have only used one size sprayer. So there is a 12-inch and I believe a 4-inch, that nozzle right there at the bottom. There's a 4-inch there, and I've only used the 12-inch so far. So that has an intense amount of overspray. Now I know you're supposed to keep the gun level to the wall, so close, but guys, the overspray that I'm getting was just so intense that I made sure I didn't get too close to the edges right now, because I couldn't control that overspray any better. So I have not put the smaller nozzle in. You guys can see you know, spraying here and having this much actually kind of overspray, I would consider. We're gonna try the smaller nozzle and see how that goes. So I hit this edge right here with a little bit of a brush, just to see how close I could get. And like I said, different nozzle time. Other than that, I coated probably a whole gallon in this room within 30 minutes with that sprayer. So that has to be a fantastic thing that I could spray out a gallon of paint within 30 minutes. I did have to keep loading the paint bucket here at the bottom. This is what goes on the bottom of this gun right there. And as this is a large gun, electric, and then you put that paint at the ends, I will tell you, after you've been taping and moving and everything else, it is a little bit of a tedious job. You will wear your arms out. There was times I was holding the gun with two hands, had an extra hand at the bottom just for a little bit more support, because they really, when you're shooting, they want you to hold the gun like this and you not to go like that. So you actually want to follow the wall like this to get a nice even coat all the way down. And then when I was reaching up here to do this top area, it'll wear you down, it'll wear you out. And when I was up at the top, and you can tell I haven't done more because of overspray toward the ceiling. But guys, I think this is time we're gonna go back. Got the 2 more gallons of fresh paint. A lot less odor than it was when I was spray painting the bench, so that was nice. But you can tell very dusty on the floor still. Tell here an edge where I actually had the broom out, just so you can see that it is kind of a powdery and dusty job with the sprayer. So it's not overspray on that floor. It is just a bunch of dust that gets kicked around. So make sure you're wearing those masks. I have to say, I am definitely gonna try it again. It wasn't a failure by any means. I got a lot of paint on the wall in a little bit amount of time, and looking forward to seeing if the gun can do a little better finishing with the smaller needle in there. So nice little update. I will let you guys know how it goes. All right, guys, time for an update. So here's where we are right now. The room is looking pretty good. We're getting pretty close. So great news. I'm not working on the floor right now. We actually have a table. That is followed up with, we have a table because the moving truck showed up and there's stuff everywhere. So even more reason to get this room wrapped up because there's tons of other projects. So here's where we are. I want to show you guys how this gun works a little bit better so you can have a true opinion on how it's doing. I have used the large nozzle for a lot of the room. It did good coverage, but it's very hard to keep it only 10 inches from the wall like they say in the owner's manual. And I say that because it's 10 inches from the wall, and when you go, you have to go like this. So you cannot do this 10 inches from the wall because that changes your spray pattern. So when you're up on the ladder doing some small areas, that's very tough. So I want to show you, I went to the smaller nozzle that worked a little bit better. I can get closer to the trim, but I also realized it's very hard to move the gun fast enough, and I've been getting pools of paint, which I go back with a paintbrush, which is actually helpful because I can get the extra paint up to the edge. So my answer is, can you do up to a tape line? Yes, if you have tons of practice. And I say that because as soon as you have your hand on the trigger a little bit too long, you have a big run that you got to take care of right away. I can actually show you guys one. You can see it up at the top. Hope you can see that a little bit, but there is a run at the very, very top. And also I still have to go back to do that kind of final coat on that edge. So I am down to the last gallon, and on purpose, I left that big hole above the window because I'm gonna climb you guys up the ladder with me. I'll show you the two different nozzles, how they spray out of the gun. And before we climb the ladder, I will jump on the table here, show you how to fill it up and how to purge the air out of the system. It's really simple. I am very happy with the gun. It is not the only thing you can use to finish a room. I still believe you need a brush. I could have not got as close and brought the roller out. So I think the big benefit of these guns is I'm really looking forward to spray stain with it. We have a back stairs and deck on the garage that needs a coat of stain. I think that'll be an excellent project for outside. I also love the idea of having a project done and wheeling it out and putting it over top of a tarp and spraying the whole entire thing. So if you don't have tight edges to deal with, a gun puts down paint very well, and a lot of it in a little bit of time. That's what I'll say is good news. So here we go. I'm gonna take you guys to the table, and then we'll climb up the ladder, show you a little bit more, and then I'll flash to a final done product of the room, and we'll get these floors cleaned up, put my old bench that I took down from the other garage, put that up, put a toolbox in here, start getting some things organized. Here we go. All right, guys, so this is a pretty simple process. I've got my regular house paint here. I'm just gonna open this up, and the gun comes in a couple different pieces. Obviously, the main gun right here, but what actually attaches with the paint is this here, a sleeve that I have never used one a second time because they're just refillable or not reusable. I just throw these out after I'm done, after I clean the gun out. So that goes into there. This has a lid and this connects right to the gun. So it is pretty darn easy. So let's throw some paint in here. Let's show you guys how to purge this system. All right, guys, I just had to do it. I know I always lose a ton of paint on the edge, so when I'm sitting at the paint counter, I see this little plastic gizmo here for 49 cents, and how do you not pick it up when it says you don't spill any paint? So let's see if this pays off for the 49 cents that I paid for it. Ooh, that's nice. Better slow that down a little bit. One drip. That worked pretty darn good. All right, guys, we'll leave this here because we'll be coming back for more very shortly. And what you do is you take the lid, which has a big hole in the center for the gun. And what you need to do when you tighten this, there's actually a reference mark. It gives you an arrow right here, and it shows you how tight to go in this vicinity. So when you go around, you kind of know exactly where to stop, I guess, so you don't have to put too much pressure on the system. But that is where they want you to stop. And they also have a certain way to lock it in. I take this little air, you'll figure out what this is. This is actually where the air comes out of the gun before you get it started. They want it kind of right here on the side. You'll see a clip in there, and you just lock this whole can to the gun just like that. So, how to get this air out of the system. Pop that open, and this is the cylinder that you put the paint in. You grab the edge here, and you guys probably won't be able to hear it, but you'll hear the air come out and then gurgle to where the paint kind of gets into the top here. And I'm already there. When you've done that, you just close that up. What they tell you to do is flick the system here down to the prime pump. And when you hit the prime pump, you hold that on for about 10 seconds. Doesn't squirt anything out. I guess it just gets the system ready to go. And then when I told you guys I was using 2 different nozzles, it is as simple as this piece right here on the side. And you line that up to the hole and you can pull that out. This is the smaller nozzle, this gray one. The black is the bigger one, so we'll throw the black one in here for a second. Because I will be going back to the small one since I'm just to the edges and not doing the big wall, but I want to show you guys what the spray pattern difference is up on the wall. One other thing that I will show you on the gun, there's a high-low switch on the top. I have had this gun in the low setting for probably 95% of the job. I did use high when I was doing kind of the middle of the walls and spraying across, trying to get a lot of paint down real quick. I find at the low setting, I still can't move the gun fast enough. When I'm on the ladder, up top, really paying attention to the edge, I find my hands slowing down, and that's when I get the paint runs. So low setting is still really not even that low. So let's get up there. I'm going to keep it on low. We're going to put it back to spray here. I'll show you how you can change your patterns from this way to this way and show you how the gun's been working. Here we go. All right, guys, I hope you have a pretty good shot here. So we're at the top of this window, and I'll try not to jiggle you off the ladder, but I do have the larger needle in the spray gun, and I want to show you guys how big this actually is, and then I will also show you the different ways you can actually turn the sprayer. So like I said, they recommend about 10 inches off the side, and we'll keep it about the same for each spray here. Here is the bigger needle, and you guys can see there's the line right now. The other thing that I'll show you, and I'll try to keep it far on this side, is you can actually turn the spray of your gun, and how this went this way, you can actually turn it so when you're spraying it's actually going this way. So here is the other way a little bit further down, and you can see I'll be shooting like that instead of the other way. So really easy to change this nozzle out. You just give it a turn to where it fits out of the plastic, and you pull that right out of the top. Here's a smaller nozzle. You just do exactly the same thing, but opposite. Push that down the right way it wants to go in and turn it to lock it in. And I'm interested to see, guys, I have not done this to actually see side by side what these differences are. So I will shoot this back on a side angle again. I'll real quick, I'm gonna see if the nozzle's spraying out okay on the side, just as a test. Yep, spraying great. All right, guys, about the same height here, and you can, or the length away from the wall, and you can see my hand's pretty steady, but this gun's a beast. I'm not gonna complain about it, and I also realized that I always seem to be pulling the cord up the ladder. So a lot of the times, to take the pressure off, I could throw this over my shoulder, keep this on my other hand. But a lot of times when I'm spraying, I wanna kinda keep my hand under here sometime to keep it more even. So let's do another shot right next to this and look at the difference between the nozzle sizes. There you go, guys. And you can still see what the overspray looks like. You guys can tell that that's my issue with the tape line, because when I get close to here, not only am I having a problem bottoming or hitting the ceiling, but I also have an issue. You can see it's a little runny just from those quick starts, especially on the edges, right? So when I hit the trigger and then start moving and then let the trigger off, so there's more paint here than there is here. So when I keep my nozzle like they like it to the side, my range of motion would really only be about that. And when I get to here, I really want to turn the gun, and you shouldn't do that. So I'm going to keep the smaller nozzle in it because most of the big stuff on the wall is done. I got a lot of edges to do, and like I said, the way I've really been successful is by doing this and taking these little extra runs of paint and just coming up here with the paintbrush and doing the good old fashioned hit the spaces that you didn't hit enough and spread out the extra little goops of paint that's starting to run right on the edge there. And you can see a good one right there. And that's just for me not moving the gun fast enough. So if I got up here and really tried harder to not hit the edge, and you guys can see how fast I want to move, but it's still, the faster I move, then it doesn't go as even. So I want to come back here, go right back through, and I try really easy to come back now and go through that, or just let that sit for a second as a base coat, or maybe not put as much down. That gives you an idea, but you guys can see how intense that slow, low setting is on the gun itself. I'm gonna get to work here. I'm gonna grab the paintbrush so none of the runs dry too much on me. I'm gonna spray my little heart out and get this wrapped up because I'm looking forward to have a working tool room. Let's go, guys. All right, everybody. It's the next day and I was hoping to come in here and pull the tape, clean the floors, do a big reveal, all excited about the finished room, but just major disaster for the last gallon of paint. So when I was at Home Depot, they ran out of the exact type of paint that I was using, and they were like, here you go, here's the upgraded paint in the same exact color for the same price. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds great. So I got to my last gallon, which was that gallon, to do all the touch up around the top of it, the edges, and just all the little details I wanted to do, cleaning up the white spots, and completely destroyed the room in my opinion. So I know it's a garage, I know I have a couple runs, things like that, but I know for a fact that I will not be able to look at this paint job every day I'm in this shop and be okay with it. So I gotta figure out exactly what I'm gonna do about that. I obviously have to go back to Home Depot. Hopefully I can get the paint that I actually need and want, and it comes back and matches. I'll see if I can show you on the camera, guys, exactly how it is. Kind of on that pegboard there, if you can see it, I have a couple swipe marks, kind of looking like Z's, because I was touching up just some edges that I just saw coming through. But you can really tell when you get up top, and kind of where I stopped right there on the touch up. And this was one of the walls that was getting finished. And guys, you can just tell, look at the paint lines in it at the top. So it's almost like that last gallon of paint that they gave me was a gloss coat instead of a matte finish that I've been using. Now I checked the label, it definitely says that it's a satin finish. Excuse me, so that's what I did. The whole thing was all satin, but it must just be that upgraded paint has more of a gloss to it. So, I mean, guys, you just see those touch-up marks that I brushed against there with that gun. So, needless to say, definitely frustrated. Not the fault of the paint gun at all. It's just, I shouldn't have taken that different can of paint from the paint department when they said everything was going to be fine and how they were giving it to me for the lesser price. So I shouldn't have trusted that. And the worst case scenario, I mean, even look up here, guys. Up at the top, I did, you guys can see those runs throughout there. I keep calling them runs, but it's like a darker gloss paint that I painted over top. And the reason it's kind of all over every wall is because it was the last portion of the painting. I was doing the touch-ups and the fill-ins. So, complete frustration level. I gotta take a little breath here and go deal with that. Get some more paint. I will not be able to live with this, even though I have some signs going up, my workbench going up, but I know for a fact that this won't work for me. So hit the reset button. I'm not taking the tape off today and getting the floor all cleaned up and putting up the workbench like I really wanted to, but we're gonna go deal with that and I'll be back to it. Okay, my friends, update time. So I was a little discouraged last time since my little catastrophe with my last gallon of paint from Home Depot being different, drying different, and in my opinion, just ruining the project. So took a little step back, went back. It was only about 3 or 4 days since I got that gallon of paint. Got somebody different and they found the right gallon. Didn't really tell them the story, just really was trying to get through it. And they found a gallon, exactly what I needed, came back, shot it, kept my fingers crossed that whole night when it dried, came back the next morning, and I'm thrilled. I'm happy to death. I'm happy because I actually did it. With going over that last coat, I was so close to the end of the project. If I left it like that and just knew I was gonna hang things on the wall, I would know it all the time what was behind it, and I wouldn't have been happy with the final product. So I'm very excited I did it. My next big issue is this absolute disaster behind me, you guys see, but the whole reason it's a disaster is because I had to get this room to a point where I could get tools and things set up, and I did not want to do it and have to go back and pull it all out to make it look the way I wanted it to do, because I'll be here for quite a long time right now. So it's time to show you. It's time to show you where I am. Now I'm not quite, I had to take a break. I had to show you before I made a complete mess of it and started unpacking boxes even more and spreading things out and getting things exactly where I want it. And I still have a little bit of tape around the ceiling to get done. And as far as the trimming out, I will have to go back with a paintbrush, a little bit on the white for the ceiling and the trim, get that dialed in the rest of the way. But guys, I cannot be happier with what is going on right now. So let's flip you around, and here is the product. This is what we're working with. We got a couple of the signs up. Pellet stove is absolutely amazing. And the original workbench is here from my last garage. A little different, guys. I went through and actually painted the bottom like I told you with some spray paint. Did the whole base there black. Really thrilled with it. Got the top on, left those rails just in the wood finish. I'm just thrilled. This corner is gonna be another workbench, possibly a desk area. I haven't designed this exactly how I want it yet, but this will be an upcoming project. So quick view, happy as can be. Final answer on the sprayer. Honestly, I will absolutely use it again. Very happy with it. Next time I will, you guys can look up at the top right here and see that overspray onto the ceiling where I'm gonna have to go back and clean up the white. And when I pulled the tape off the bottom, still a little wet, it peeled a little bit down there. So like I said, a couple touch-ups I have to do. Doing a big room like this, the spray gun laid a lot of paint very quickly and got through a whole bunch of mess with rollers and everything else that I'm just not a huge fan of. So the sprayer just worked really well getting paint on the wall. Next time, like I said, the edges, I would take a little more time and actually get the edges painted, still tape them off, but actually either roll them and brush them in and not shoot as close to the edge. And I think I would have a cleaner finish at the end and wouldn't have to go back and do it at the end. Door, absolutely fabulous. I'm thrilled that I covered over that horrible stain that was there. So there you go, guys. Final product as of now. I'm gonna replace some lights in the Kawasaki with some new LEDs. It does plug in right now with the original, so it looks killer at night. And like I said, I'm gonna put some new LEDs in there and get that a little modernized. But I tell you, I'm thrilled with that sign. That's just awesome. I love that it's still lit, and I'll get some new lights in there. Guys, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up. I have so much to show you. So many new projects coming up. The next one, I have to get back over here and get the back room ready for the car to go in. And that's going to entail getting shelves on that back wall. We're going to do that very simply, inexpensive. And I will do a quick video on that because I'm going to make it simple, as least cutting as possible, make it as clean as possible, get it up on the wall, get some of the stuff up there, get the car in, get the bikes organized the right way, and move on to the next project because we got plenty to do. Thank you for taking a look. I hope you guys are excited about what we're gonna do here for you at Garage Life. Welcome to the new shop in Pennsylvania.